Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we have another news update video. We saw 6 more signings from over the past couple of hours, and we've got a very interesting trade between the Montreal Canadiens and Carolina Hurricanes, which are all 7 things coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we begin this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for tomorrow's live stream at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time talking about free agency. So don't forget to stay tuned for that. But today's video, we've got a lot of interesting updates here. We saw 6 more signings at this point in time, 3 from the Detroit Red Wings, 2 from the Ottawa Senators, and 1 from the Utah Mammoth I never got around to earlier, so let's touch on all of these signings here. So first, the Detroit Red Wings has signed Patrick Kane, the old veteran who has been with the Red Wings the last couple of seasons. He's a right winger, he's 36 years old, he gets a 1-year contract with the AAV of $3 million, but does have the opportunity with games played and winning playoffs and making the playoffs to earn upwards of $7.5 million with the bonuses included. So very interesting note there, but it's a base salary of $3 million and potentially $4.5 million more in bonuses. So an interesting signing here. Kane has been a really solid addition there for the Red Wings. Had 21 goals and 59 points in 72 games this year after he had 20 goals and 47 points in 50 games the year prior. So a solid season there for Kane. He had a really good stint with the Red Wings so far, and he's going to keep that stint going as he's signing with another extension to remain in the Detroit organization. Then we saw Ottawa bring back some of their depth from earlier, as Nick Cousins, who's a center/left winger, 31 years old, signed a 1-year contract last year to play with the Ottawa Senators, has re-upped for another 1-year contract. He signs a 1-year contract, AAV of $825,000 to remain with the Senators. Cousins this past year had 6 goals and 15 points in 50 games, had a little bit of injury troubles, was mostly a healthy scratch at some points too, but still a solid season, matching his point total from the previous season with Florida, where he had 15 points in 69 games. So obviously Ottawa feels like Cousins is a really solid bottom 6 person and could really help this team long term. So a solid pickup there for the Sens as they do wind up keeping Cousins. Then they saw Ottawa Senators, instead of qualifying him, sign Levi Merilianen, their 3rd string goaltender, potentially backup goaltender going into this upcoming season, who had a really solid season last year. He's 22 years old, very young goaltender, signed a 1-year contract with the AAV of $1.05 million. Not a bad contract there. He's going to be an RFA again next year, so it's just a 1-year contract. If they can bury him in the minors. I wouldn't be surprised though if they ran with him as the backup to Allmark next year. Merilanen played in 12 games this past year, but had a 1.99 GAA and 925 save percentage at the NHL level, and he is looking great. He also had a 2.36 GAA and 913 save percentage in 35 AHL games, so I don't think he's ready to be a starter yet, but I will not be one bit surprised if he was the backup and was able to play like 25 to 30 games for the Ottawa Senators. So a solid sign there, as 1 year at $1.05 million for a potential backup goaltender is not overly bad there for the Sens. Then we saw the Detroit Red Wings make another signing, this time with Albert Johansson. Johansson, who got his first taste of NHL action this past year. He's 24-year-old. He's left shot defenseman. He can work really well as like a solid 3rd pair guy at this point in time. Maybe eventually could be a 2nd pair guy. Signs a 2-year contract extension with the AAV of $1.13 million. It's a pretty solid sign there for Johansson. This past year in his first career NHL season, had 3 goals and 9 points in 61 NHL games after he had 6 goals and 21 points in 66 AHL games last year. A solid season there for Johansson. He really came into his own as a solid 3rd pair defenseman, and I think this isn't an overly bad deal. And if Johansson can continue to grow, I think eventually this will be looking like a steal of a deal for the Red Wings. So very interesting note there, but Johansson has signed an extension in Detroit. Then we saw the Utah Mammoth, some of their depth players in their system, as they send right shot defenseman, 25-year-old AHLer Montana Onyebuik. Onyebuik gets a 2-year extension with AAV of $775,000. Not a bad deal. Like, he's league minimum. He's never played an NHL level game, so I mean he's mostly an AHL guy, could potentially be a call-up option. So 2 years of league minimum for a potential call-up option is not overly bad there for Utah, so very interesting note there. And then we also saw the Detroit Red Wings, so one of their younger players to a new deal, and that's RFA forward Jonathan Berggren. Berggren, who is 24 years old, he's a winger. He's actually started to do quite well as like a solid top 9 forward in the Wings organization. Has signed a 1-year contract contract with AAV of $1.83 million. Not a bad deal there for the Wings. Berggren this past year had 12 goals, 24 points in 75 games. There was some talk about him being traded because he wasn't liking the opportunity he was getting, so he signs a one-year deal. I wonder if maybe he's not doing overly well next year, that maybe the Red Wings trade him or maybe not qualify him next offseason. But he had a solid season, nearly getting a career high in goals, nearly getting a career high in points. So a pretty solid season there from Berggren as he winds up getting a one-year extension, and I do think that's not an overly bad deal for the Detroit Red Wings. So those are the 6 signings we saw from our past a little while, as Utah signs an AHLer, Ottawa brings back some depth with potential backup goalie Merilainen, as well as a bottom 6 forward in Cousins. Then Detroit signs a potential third pair defenseman Johansson, a solid top 9 forward in Berggren, and a top 6 veteran in Kane to new deals. So very interesting note there. And we also saw a very interesting trade that happened just a little while ago between the Montreal Canadiens and Carolina Hurricanes. And the trade is as follows. The Hurricanes acquired Cayden Primeau from the Montreal Canadiens for the Hurricanes' 2026 7th round pick. So we'll start with from the Montreal side. Last year, Primeau did not have an overly great start as the backup to Montembeault. He was eventually placed on waivers, sent to the minors, and he wound up not being the starter at the NHL or even the backup as Dobes really started to run with the backup role. So Primeau was demoted to the third stringer role, and that wasn't an overly great fit there for Primeau. So they gave him to Carolina. Like, he should probably be the third stringer again in Carolina. They get a 7th round pick back. It's like just a little bit of draft capital. So the Primeau experiment never worked out, and now the Canadiens are done with him. Primeau, I think, could eventually be a solid third stringer in the Hurricanes organization. He's an RFA, so he will need to be tendered a qualifying offer. I'm not sure if he did or not, but that's an interesting pickup there for the Hurricanes, as they might be able to sign their third string goaltenders to play behind Kochetkov and Anderson, especially good thing there, especially with Anderson's injury history. So very interesting note there. But those are 6 signings in the trade we saw from our past little while. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think of the Kane, Berggren, Johansson, Cousins, Merilainen, and Onyebuick signings? And who do you think won the Carolina-Montreal deal? I think Carolina did, because I think Primeau's at this point a tiny bit better value than 7th round picks. Definitely. I'll have your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk about for today. Remember to like this video, and if you really liked it, remember to subscribe down below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for tomorrow's live stream at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, talking about free agency. I also do a blog talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so remember to check that out. I will link that in the description below. I can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.